Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome. So this is our second tug of 2024. Basically, we've tried to reignite the tug in Southern Africa. So it's exciting to see a good attendance. Last session, I see there are a few new faces, which is obviously good. That's what we're aiming for. Last session was really engaging. So really the purpose is to connect with each other, learn from each other, share some insights, etc., etc. But we do have an agenda. So I have Tish, who has recently come back from Tableau conference. So those that aren't aware of Tableau conference, it happens every year. It has for many years now. I've been lucky enough to go to one. It's a really exciting event. So Tish is going to share some of his experiences, as well as some of the latest features and announcements from Tableau. I've had a sneak peek. It's all very exciting, so I'm sure it's going to be a jam-packed session. And then sadly, Andrea from Barrows has messaged me late yesterday. She's been in hospital, so we wish her a speedy recovery. So I have decided to just talk about Tableau Exchange and the Tableau community. So I'll cover that off once Tish has gone through his Tableau conference recap. Just a quick slide on who we are. So basically, Andre, I think, has been the spearhead of this. So those who don't know Andre, he's also on the call. He's from Salesforce, based in Cape Town. He's brought the sort of three partners or Tableau partners together. So my name is Craig. I'm from a company called Kiris. I head up data analytics here. And I don't know if Flora's on the call. Maybe Tini, do you want to give a quick intro from your side?
But it's nice to see. I think we've more participants than the first one we held, and it's great to get this tug up and running again. So I'm Tini de Klerk from a company called Moyo, based head office in Gauteng and an office in Cape Town. Been a Tableau partner for many years, so quite passionate about this platform and engaging with everybody on this call on exciting new features and to take this forward.
Cool, thanks, Tini. Flora, I can't see you on the call unless I've missed you.
I don't think she's on.
Okay. So Flora's from Slipstream, based in Cape Town. She actually organized the first event. I'm handling this one, and Tini will handle the next one. That's how we've decided to divide and conquer. So just in terms of the Southern Africa user group, we've got a community web page, which I believe a lot of you have joined. We'll put all these links into the chat and be able to sort of share this as we go. And then I did a quick sort of analysis last night around how big our group is. So in the last 90 days, we've got 216 active users in South Africa, which is great. And like I said, there are a couple representatives from Mozambique here today, which is good. And I see we've also got some fans from the United States and United Kingdom as well, which is obviously the more the merrier. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Tish. So Tish, I stalked you on LinkedIn last night and found a couple of your photos from TC. It looked like an exciting time. So I'm going to pause there and hand over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Can everybody hear me?
Perfect.
All right, perfect. Okay, so for the purposes of time, I'm just going to share my screen, and I'll get us started from here. All right, so everybody can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like Craig said, my name is Titch. I'm a lead solution engineer for Tableau in the EMEA Growth Markets team, which means I work with a specific focus on Africa, but do a little bit of work in the Middle East, in Israel, and in some parts of Europe. My major focus is South Africa, though. So firstly, thank you for making the time to be here this morning. It's a Tuesday morning at work time, and we really appreciate that everybody is taking the time to do this, and the data family is quite strong in South Africa. Very high level overview of the agenda for my 20 minutes that I'm going to speak here. little bit of an intro about what TC was like for me and for most of the data fam, and then some feature announcements that I'll quickly go through. And if I have time, I might show a demo if I have time and maybe if I'm feeling a little bit generous. Okay, so let's kick things off. So 2 years ago, I wasn't working at Tableau. I was still working at a healthcare actuarial consultancy, heading up analytics there, and I tweeted this. I really wanted to go to Tableau conference. I've been a member of the data fam for a little over 9 years now. And I really wanted to go to Tableau conference, but I couldn't, right? It wasn't a priority for my company. And then 2 years later, like Craig showed, I was at TC about a month ago, I guess. It was an incredible experience. It was definitely the highlight of my professional career. I got to go, I got to interact with the data fam. From a Tableau perspective, I was working as a Tableau doctor. You can see in the first picture there, I've got that doctor's coat, and what that was customers would come with any problems they had, and the Tableau doctors would help them through it. So it was like a doctor appointment. Each customer gets like 30 minutes, and we speak to them and help them solve their pain points. It was an incredible experience. I also got to assist with hands-on training for a new feature that we have called Viz Extension that I shall talk about a little bit later. And I got to meet a lot of people in the data fam and just got to take it all in. This picture that you can see somewhere here, this was the highlight of Tableau conference, which is the Iron Viz competition. I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end, because they've got the Iron Viz competition, which is like basically a data viz competition for the best data visualization specialists in the world. But they've got a student edition, and it looked like one of the 3 finalists for the student edition is actually somebody with South African heritage. So I'll try to reach out to him and see if he can actually join us on a future call and maybe talk about what his experiences have been like. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some numbers here, because this was the most successful Tableau conference for the last few years. We had over 6,500 full conference attendees, and about 19,000 people joined us online on Salesforce Plus. About 500 sessions and about 12,000 engagements in the data village, which is where all the demos were happening, where the Tableau doctor stations and the community stations were. And then the keynote had standing room only in the room, and the Tableau employees, we couldn't actually get into the keynote, and we had to watch from other rooms. There were about 7,600 people watching the keynote online. So it was a really successful Tableau conference. And the one thing that stood out for me was that the Tableau community was front and center. And that's really huge. The Tableau conference is an event that's created for the data fam, and Tableau takes its time to make sure that the community is highlighted in everything. In all the signage, you get the community helping out. At some of the demo booths, they'll come. You'll see some of the Tableau visionaries who even come and help some of the Tableau doctors. So it's a community event run for the community, run by the community, and it really just energizes everybody around Tableau and data analytics. I guess, like I said, yeah, the data fam is at the heart of everything that was happening at the conference, and it was quite apparent. You can see the enthusiasm across the entire conference. But to get straight into the feature announcements, right? Tableau AI was front and center of everything that was being presented. Now, I know that some people don't really know what that is, but I'd encourage you to try and Google what Tableau Pulse is or what Einstein Copilot for Tableau is. These are the 2 major product innovations that Tableau is pushing this year, and they are meant to make insights available to your business users at the speed of thought, using natural language, using a conversational AI assistant. And all of this is underpinned by, trusted generative AI. And the major announcement there was the general availability of Tableau Pulse, which is a reimagined data experience for everybody. It delivers contextual and intelligent insights wherever you are. This has been, I think, demoed everywhere. If you just Google, you can see how that would work for you in your industry. You can see how you'd get started with Tableau Pulse. And it's really one of the most exciting innovations to come to Tableau in the last few years. And just to show you how serious Tableau is about Tableau Pulse, we've got bi-weekly product updates for this particular feature, and we're driving innovation faster than ever. And this was quite apparent at Tableau conference. There are many different use cases for Tableau Pulse. One of them was where there was a community hall and you were asked certain questions using Tableau Pulse about what you could see about a certain singer's statistics on an online streaming platform, and you'd win prizes. There's so many different use cases. So we're updating Tableau Pulse every 2 weeks, and some of the major updates would be things like metric bootstrapping, which is the ability to launch Tableau Pulse straight from a Tableau dashboard and actually build metrics based on what you're seeing on the dashboard. And then the other major announcement on the AI side was Einstein Copilot for Tableau, which is an intuitive conversational AI assistant that enables everybody to become a data expert. So I know that a lot of people, like, there's so many copilots that are out there. Every tool has their own copilot. But Einstein Copilot for Tableau is a very targeted approach that uses Gen AI to help accelerate your work, but it doesn't replace the data analyst, right? So it could never replace the expertise and skill of the data fam. It's not going to build the beautiful dashboards that you see on Tableau Public, but it's really going to help you just supercharge your analytics experience. I've had the pleasure of using this. It's not yet out. I think it's about a month away. I'm sure Andre will be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about a month away, maybe a month and a half for it to become generally available. But the goal really is to make analytics much easier for you. And it's quite exciting that that was launched. And staying on Einstein Copilot, we've brought Einstein Copilot for Tableau Prep as well and for Tableau Catalog. Now, I understand that a lot of people might not know what Tableau Prep is. I wasn't using it in my former job. And Tableau Prep is our last mile ETL tool that helps you transform, connect to data, and basically perform any data transformations that you would want to do with little to no code. And we've brought the power of Einstein Copilot in Tableau Prep to help you with calculations, to help you with sentiment analysis. So what I mean by that, you can now calculate sentiment of raw text data, you can blend it together, and you can get a complete flow. Einstein Copilot for Tableau does that for you. If I have time, I'll show you a little bit of that a little bit later. And then probably the most impactful announcement for the Tableau community or the data fam was local file saving in Tableau Desktop Public Edition. So this was done to further our mission to help everybody see, understand, and act on data. So users are now able to work with and save workbooks securely and locally, in addition to sharing them online with the Tableau community. Now, why is that important? First, you're able to, with the free version of Tableau Desktop, so that's the public edition, you can save your workbooks to your local desktop. You can visualize public and private data because you're not necessarily publishing it on Tableau Public. And then you can create and save visualizations on the go without an internet connection. And this really helps. So for example, when I'm flying to client visits, I've always got Tableau Desktop open, I'm messing around in it. This is going to allow everybody, including those that don't have a paid Tableau subscription or paid Tableau license, to be able to visualize on the go without an internet connection. So this is really, really huge in terms of democratizing, data analytics and giving everybody access to Tableau. So one of Tableau's key strengths is that you can hack it, right? You can create almost any visualization. You can create Sankey charts, you can create B-Swarm charts, you can create stream graphs, you can create whatever you want to create. And that, while that is possible, that's always required, some really smart mathematics, engineering, understanding of trigonometry to get some of these visualizations to come to life. So Viz extensions are very similar to dashboard extensions. They're web applications that will extend the native visual capabilities of Tableau. So they'll change the way that we can release a new feature into Tableau, meaning third parties like partners are also able to add to the Tableau authoring experience. And several Viz extensions are already available on the Tableau Exchange. In particular, the hands-on training session that I was a part of, we were helping the users create. It's called the radial sun chart. It looks like a pie chart, like an exploding pie chart, but it's a little bit different. Nothing I would recommend you do in a business context, but it's really, really pretty. So this is something that's very exciting. We're now basically giving access to advanced visualizations to anybody, including people that don't understand the trigonometry or the data scaffolding that's supposed to happen to bring these visualizations to life. Next major announcement is shared dimensions. Now, this is something that the data fam had asked for a while. And essentially, shared dimensions, they enhance our data modeling capabilities by enabling our enterprise customers to analyze data across multiple domains. So you might want to basically analyze data that share common dimensions, like a time dimension, like a geography dimension, and you want to combine that for holistic understanding across your business. So we've updated the Tableau data modeling experience to allow you to query a semantic layer and to create shared dimensions. I'm just rushing through these. I'm sure you'll have the recording, but we'll also provide links so you can get more information on this. Composable data sources. These help you create a single source of truth, right? It's been something. It's one of the three most asked for ideas in the Tableau community, and essentially, this allows you to join published data sources. It allows you to enrich centralized certified data with additional context as a derived dependent data source without the risk of impacting the certified data. So this means that changes that are made upstream to centralized data will automatically cascade to your analyst data sources downstream, keeping them updated and in sync. It saves you precious time. It saves you money in data egress. So it's quite exciting that this is coming to really enhance our data modeling capabilities. And then we've expanded our partnership with Microsoft, right? A lot of people will be like, no, but isn't Microsoft a competitor? Well, yes and no. I mean, Microsoft is present in over 60% of our accounts, right? So most people use Teams. And so there's going to be a Tableau app for Microsoft Teams. You'll be able to quickly explore your data in Microsoft Fabric in one lake. And this really does position Tableau as an end-to-end data platform that allows you to connect, to prep, and to harmonize data to deploy faster. And most importantly, there shall be Tableau Pulse Teams integration. So at the moment, Tableau Pulse integrates natively with Slack, but we also know that not everybody uses Slack. We know that a lot of companies, especially here in South Africa, use Microsoft Teams. So we'll be able to bring that Tableau Pulse experience to Microsoft Teams as well. And then just taking a look at this, right? And this is just for you to understand that our innovation goes beyond Tableau Pulse. It goes beyond Einstein Copilot for Tableau. It was just very exciting to be sitting there and seeing just everything that the company is doing for the data fam in terms of fast-paced innovation. The company continues to invest in the core of Tableau and in the products that we love and that we use every day. So, features like shared dimensions that we've talked about that unlock multi-factor analysis and allowing you to be more productive, composable data sources, these extensions, and for companies and organizations that want to migrate to the cloud, there are things such as the Migration SDK, which is an open source toolbox that allows you to automate the migrating of users and groups and data sources and workbooks. All of these are feature innovations that were announced at Tableau conference. And, it's really quite refreshing to know that Tableau continues to invest in the platform. I know we're focused on AI, but we're continuing to invest in the core experience, that is Tableau. So before I continue, I'll just check with Craig. How much time do I have left? I want to see if I can show a sneak peek of something I'm not supposed to show, but I think it'll be exciting for everybody here.
Tish, you can't say that and not show us. So I think you're going to have to.
All right. Okay. So let me take you back to. I'll try to show it quickly. Even if I don't go through the whole demo, you will get what I'm saying. I spoke a little bit about Einstein Copilot in Tableau Prep, and I spoke a little bit about sentiment analysis, right? I'll give you a 30-second refresher. With Einstein Copilot, you'll be able to calculate sentiment of raw text data. You'll be able to blend it together, and you'll be able to get a complete flow of that data. So the sentiment analysis is going to help you gain valuable insights on columnar data. So I want to try and see if I can show you a little bit of that. If it doesn't work out, please don't blame me, don't judge me. Like I told you, this is still in beta and it's not yet out for everybody. Okay, so can everybody see my screen? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, so what we're looking at here is obviously the Tableau prep window. And what we want to do from this data set is to find what activities we should engage in while we're visiting Bali. And we want to use Tableau's new sentiment analysis and Tableau prep to decide or to define, depending on what reviews we're given, we want to see what activity is the most positive sentiment amongst all these activities, right? So you'll see Einstein Copilot just surface up here in the corner. Just like it does in web edits if you already have access to the beta version. And if I go through, the Einstein Copilot window comes up, and I can actually start by asking Einstein Copilot a question, right? It'll suggest some questions to me, as you can see here, but I can actually start to ask it a question. So I can ask Einstein Copilot here, to rate these activities based on the tone of each review. And remember, the reviews are in this column here, and we want to do sentiment analysis on this, right? And if I click OK, what's going to happen is it's going to draft a response for me here. And before I go any further, I just want to mention that this conversational approach is coming to Tableau Prep. This Q&A is coming to Tableau Prep with Einstein Copilot. And what it's going to do is actually it's going to guide you through the prep steps you actually need to perform in Tableau Prep to achieve your goal. Essentially, so you can see it's not just the sentiment analysis it's pulling, it's telling us to union all the files, and it'll union them for us, which is really, really great. And it really does the job for me. It's a lot faster than me doing it myself. We can clean and remove duplicate rows as well. And that's really great because I don't have to do this myself, right? As a user. And then as we go, like I said, I can remove the duplicate rows. And finally, we get to the point where we can actually run our sentiment analysis. And this creates a new type of step within Tableau Prep that was not natively available. And we don't just stop there. With sentiment analysis and Tableau Prep, we'll be able to actually customize the sentiment analysis as well. So, for example, if I go in here and see what's being defined as a positive sentiment, I can see that it's from 0.3 to 1. And we can have a quick look and see what that 0.3 looks like. But you can also see that is the people that took part in the scuba diving experience look like they're not very impressed. So, maybe we just need to up that sentiment experience a little bit. And at the end of it all, you'll be able to see that we have performed our sentiment analysis and we've created another data source that you can actually use in Tableau that you can publish to, to your Tableau site. And this is really, really powerful, especially for people in the marketing space that will need to be able to crawl and to troll the web for sentiment analysis on your products, your company's products. This is a really powerful feature that's coming to Tableau Prep. And yeah, I thought it would be great if I show you a little bit of what that will look like. But yeah, I think that's probably where it ends with me here. I really, really enjoyed my time in San Diego. Tableau Conference is going to be in San Diego again next year. It's a beautiful city. The weather was amazing. I took a lot of photos. I just didn't show you. I thought it's better to show you feature announcement than to show you my photo reel. But there was so much to explore. And I'd encourage anybody who has an opportunity to go there, to start budgeting for it. Speak to your account managers. I'm sure we can provide some discounts on some things here. Andre is on the call, so I'm going to put him on blast. Speak to Andre if he's the account manager in your company, and see if you can head over to Tableau Conference next year. And yeah, thank you for the time today.
Sorry, Craig. Thanks, Titch. Just a quick note. So there's a lot of other sessions and things that was covered at the conference. I did post earlier the Salesforce Plus link. There's some great sessions of, the data fam, all these Tableau ambassadors that did their own sessions as well with tips and tricks of Tableau. So go through there. It's a lot of exciting sessions there that you guys can learn a lot about. Even if you go on LinkedIn and you go on the Tableau page, you'll see there's a lot of highlights of sessions there that also has been posted. We'll recommend to watch those if you've not watched it. They are really exciting. Sorry, Craig.
No, all good. Thanks, Andre. Thanks, Tish. Like Tish says, I highly recommend going to TC as well. I was very fortunate to go in 2018. It was in New Orleans. And I'll never forget flying in. I mean, it's obviously a long flight from SA. Landed in Atlanta, and then at the airport boarding the next flight. And I see people on their laptops, and they all have Tableau desktop open. And I was like, what? This is blowing my mind. I don't see this in South Africa. It was a really cool experience just to be part of that data fam. There's a huge community out there that are using Tableau. And that kind of segues into what I wanted to share. So let me share my screen again. All the photos are still from Tish's LinkedIn. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I want to just talk a little bit about why is it not changing slide? Okay, I want to talk a little bit about working smart. So there's obviously a lot of tools that are out there. We have Tableau. We've been using Tableau, but really, what does that mean to you? Wow, this is not working so good. Okay, I'll just use this feature here. So what does Tableau mean to you? And really, I think it can mean different things to different people. Are you getting the best return on your investment, and specifically your time? Things like AI and what Tish is showing, there's great features coming out that should allow you to move a lot quicker to get to insight. So are you looking for these new features? Are you allowing them to help you in your day-to-day? So a couple of things I want to show you. So Tableau Exchange, Tableau Public, the Tableau blog, which might sound silly, but there's some great insight on the Tableau blog, as well as the Tableau community projects. So I'm going to segue into sharing my Tableau Cloud. I'm hoping you can see my Tableau Cloud.
Yeah.
Cool. So my first sort of statement, what does Tableau mean to you? If I just click on something that I've called my first Tableau dashboard, I've sort of purposefully called it number 2. We know that when we start using Tableau, we call things 1, we call things 2. We don't know that there's a versioning control history. So all those sorts of things, you can evolve into. I was very proud of my first dashboard. It had some filtering capabilities. If I click on state, I can filter, and it's going to filter my other 2 visuals, which you kind of think is your first stab at a dashboard, and that can be great insight to a lot of people. But really, how do we take Tableau a little bit further? And I'm just going to show you a couple of other really insightful dashboards that I like to share, just because it kind of creates that thinking slightly differently, or maybe you haven't considered this in your day-to-day. So this is a dashboard all around web traffic, and I really like this. It's clean, it's slick, it's got sort of that web-like experience where if I click on the left-hand side here, there's a little button, and it actually processes that it's all in the same structure, and I've now navigated to another dashboard. But it's that app-like experience that really makes it easy for me to follow and to understand. The next one, again, another great visual. It's all about user onboarding. And what I really like about this when it loads. You know, I think really easy and intuitive to understand, but what the creator's done here is put in this how to navigate this dashboard. And if I click on that, it actually shows me step by step. 1, view the most important conversion metrics and their week over week change. Then it goes to 2, it shows me, it tells me exactly what I need to do. It's highlighted it. It's got this very subtle blue behind the scenes here. And it's really sort of pinpointing the things that I need to look at. And then I can close that. Anybody want to unmute and share what they think has been done in Tableau Desktop to get this capability? Give you a virtual high five. Nobody?
Craig, did you
Go on, Steve.
I applied a similar thing, but what I did was the dashboard was set at a fixed size that we used PowerPoint, and then applied a container above that with my text files, and set the container as floating, and then change the opacity of the container, maybe set it at a black color, and then change the opacity to around 50, and it's kind of just another layer, and then just add a hard close button on that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Steve, thanks for sharing.
Epic.
This one I will hopefully get to if we've got enough time. I want to show you in Tableau Desktop how we can reuse calculations. Then going into the sort of more creative side, and coming back to that question, what does Tableau mean to you? We all work in different industries, different verticals, etc., etc. Sorry, Stephen Moore, have you got a? See, your hand is up. Is that for the previous question? Okay, hand down. Okay. So yeah, we all work in different industries, different verticals, but Tableau can do. I always say you're kind of limited by your own creativity. And talking to what Tish mentioned earlier, you can always hack something in Tableau. You can always build something extremely creative. And I found this on Tableau Public maybe a few years ago now. Just a short history of the Tour de France, but it's something that is super catchy. It's something that you look at and you're intrigued immediately. And this is all built in Tableau Desktop. I mean, it's a really inspiring visual. And I think it kind of talks to that the data fam that Tish was talking about, and how sort of anything is possible. And then the last one I wanted to show is, again, I found this on Tableau Public. This is Game of Thrones. So for any Game of Thrones fans out there, this is a really sort of interesting visual. Again, it kind of talks to the characters, and when Ned was beheaded, Ned Stark appeared 11 times in episode 91. And he dies beheaded in front of his kids, which is messed up, making use of a tooltip. But it's a really sort of, again, interesting visual that really catches your eye, and it sort of creates that, oh wow, there's something really intriguing around this. Let's learn more. Let's ask more questions, and that's what I love about Tableau. The ability to do that. And then going into the couple other things I wanted to share, and maybe I'll pause there if there are any questions. Okay. So I'm just checking the time, so I'm gonna keep going.
Sorry, Craig.
Yeah.
So those ones that you just showed, is that just ones that you just downloaded from Tableau Public?
Correct. So I'm going to go into that now. So
Okay, cool.
Talking about the Tableau Exchange and Tableau Public, I do get questions, what is the difference? So if you've never heard of Tableau Exchange is Tableau's platform where certain assets are published. They are created by either Tableau or partners, and broken down into four different content types. So you've got accelerators, which essentially are Tableau dashboards. They're very business focused. There's dashboard extensions, viz extensions, which is what Tish mentioned earlier. as well as custom connectors to maybe data sources that Tableau don't have a native connector to. So what I really want to talk about is just the accelerator piece. And I think this is highly underutilized in the South African market. We've got colleagues in the Keras US, and this is a massively adopted feature in the US market. Navigating to Tableau accelerators, like I said, we all work in different industries, different verticals. So if you're in healthcare, I can come into healthcare, I can see a bunch of dashboards that have been created by, you see as different partners. This is created by Tableau themselves. And if I go into a particular dashboard, what I love about this is, firstly, it gives you the sort of demo of what that dashboard looks like. So I can click on that. But what I love is it gives me a description. It tells me exactly what I'm looking at. What are my key metrics? So if you know that you have key metrics that you need to track, number of stays, number of inpatient stays, etc., you can start to look through these accelerators and say, well, actually, my metrics are very similar. And I can kind of get to, okay, sorry, there's quite a lot in this example. But as I get down, I can see that this is a Tableau dashboard that's being created. And I can actually download this and then connect my data to this dashboard. And if that doesn't make sense, essentially, you can use what has been built here, if I say it differently, and you can point your data directly to this, and then this dashboard comes to life with your data. There is a feature called Data Mapper. I was hoping to show that. But up at the top here, it tells me if an accelerator does have the Data Mapper capability available. So, like I said, a really sort of underutilized platform. So the Tableau Exchange, I see Andre has put the link in the chat. And then coming to Tableau Public. So Tableau Public's been around a lot longer than Tableau Exchange. Tish did mention a little bit about Tableau Public. It's really community focused, and you can subscribe to the Viz of the Day. And essentially what Tableau Public is, it's the awesome Tableau community that creates their own visuals. Everything on here is, maybe dummy is not the right word, fake data. So it's sort of data that doesn't necessarily mean anything from a business point of view, or somebody's business rather. It's dummy data, and there's some really great inspirational type visualizations. And I generally peruse through Tableau Public every so often, really to draw inspiration, to get ideas. I've kind of come on today and I don't think I've seen this one, a help desk dashboard. That's Tish, help me. Real world fake data. Is that right? See, not.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And I'll get to that shortly as well. But here's sort of a very interesting my color wheel. So look, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I really just want to make this known that Tableau Public is out there, and everything here is a Tableau dashboard. A lot of them you can actually download, and Andre, to your point, I have downloaded some of these and put them into our environment for inspiration. Okay, bad one to choose, but if I come to download here, I can download the workbook. This author is obviously grayed this out, wants to keep their IP, which is fine, but there are a bunch of dashboards that if I click on, I can. I think this one I downloaded the other day just to show you. Download, and then I can actually download this workbook. And essentially from there, I can reverse engineer this if I need to. If there's certain visuals here that I like or dislike, I can use and abuse. I don't like to use the word steal, but the Tableau community is there to share these different visuals and creative ideas. Tish.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that much like the accelerators with their data mapper feature, there's actually a way of, after downloading the Tableau Public desktop, Tableau Public dashboards, there's a way of actually switching out the data sources And Andy Cribble, who's like a legend in the community, actually published a video showing how to do that. I'm just going to put that in the comments for anybody who wants to use these as inspiration and switch that out.
Thank you. Thanks, Tish.
Yeah, also, sorry, Craig. I also recommend, there's a lot of Tableau ambassadors and visionaries that is also, got a lot of, their profiles quite large of things that they, so, feel free, you can follow these guys as well, on Tableau Public, and, they're quite open and sharing a lot of their things as well. So, I think a lot of users that start with Tableau, find a lot of help, from these ambassadors and visionaries as well, and like Greg said, it's not stealing. This is the power of the Tableau community of, people sharing things that they're doing. And even on LinkedIn, if you go, and on Twitter, there's a lot of these ambassadors and visionaries that is sharing a lot of tips and tricks and content. Like we had the first user group, we have had a guy from, is it Norway, Tor, that was doing a lot of the tips and tricks and shared it with our community. And we'll get more of these visionaries as well. Hopefully we can get the two twins, famous twins, to also come to our user group. But yeah, that's, look for these guys and, follow them. They share a lot of content, a lot of information.
Absolutely. And then the Tableau blog, again, it's another resource that I come to every so often. There's some really concise articles, and I use the word concise because you hate to read something that's far too long. But all about new features, things that are happening in either the community or within the Salesforce Tableau company, etc. So a lot of this stuff is published on LinkedIn as well. So Andre's got a LinkedIn group. I think you put the link in the chat as well, Andre. So a lot of the stuff also gets shared on LinkedIn, and that's generally where I see the blog posts as well. So if you haven't followed Salesforce and Tableau on LinkedIn, obviously recommend that as well. Then the last thing to show is the community projects, and this has also grown a lot over the years. If I scroll down here, I remember way back there was Workout Wednesday and Makeover Monday. Basically, and Tish, Andre, please jump in here. I haven't looked at these in quite some time. But essentially, these are community-run initiatives. I know Workout Wednesday, they basically put out a weekly challenge to the community. They give you a data set and they say, this is what we need to try and do. And then the community would essentially create those dashboards or whatever the requirement might be. So it always keeps you engaged, it keeps you challenged, it keeps you sort of pushing the boundaries of what Tableau is capable of. Tish?
Yeah, so just to jump in there, so the Workout Wednesday is really great, and it's got a couple of semi-complex challenges that you can use. Makeover Monday is really good. It's designed to just take maybe an hour of your day to get a data set on a Monday to re-visualize something. One of the other ones I like that helps with Tableau prep is called Prepping Data. That gives you a data preparation challenge, and you can use this to learn how to use Tableau prep. And all these are really important in making sure that your data skills, stay up to date.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to pause there. Any questions to what I've just shown and shared now? Okay. I have a quick tip. I hope I have enough time. I was thinking of what's going to be useful to share. And something that generally comes up in every business is you need to create a month-to-date or year-to-date metric on a new dashboard. And you've created calculations like this before. So sometimes you start from scratch. Sometimes you think, okay, how can I reuse what I've done? And what I'm going to show you is literally let's copy, paste, replace, and we can go for a coffee break. So I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share this dashboard, which I briefly showed, but now I'm in Tableau Desktop. So this is essentially a variance dashboard. It's looking at a variance from month or year to date, month to date, week, and previous day, etc. So if I just come to one of the worksheets, there are a bunch of different calculations that I've sort of nicely grouped into folder structures, and it's all linked to, if I just do, let's maybe focus on month to date. It's all linked to a select date, which is a parameter, or purple parameter. So I've sort of created these calculations, and I want to start reusing this in another dashboard. So if I go across to another workbook, there's currently nothing that's been created here, so I don't have any visuals, but I've got some retail transactions here. I can see here that I've got transaction date, and I've got two measures here, to the discount amount as well as the number of items. So how do I start to visualize something here where I'm looking at my month to date? What I can do is I can leverage the calculations that I've done in a previous workbook. So I'm holding down Shift. I've selected all the calculations that I want to copy across. I'm going to hold down Control and deselect those two because I don't need them. And I'm going to right click. I'm going to say copy. So I'm copying from one Tableau workbook. I'm going to another Tableau workbook, and I'm going to paste these. And because of the way that I've structured these calculations, they have pasted into this workbook. Okay, so it's at a workbook level. And you can see that there's a bunch of issues here. This calculation date is invalid. Okay, and I obviously have done this before, so I know which calculations I need to edit. Essentially, all of these question mark calculations are linked to my date. So if I just edit my date, I'll see here that there's a parameter. So when it's 1, then give me another date. So I'm going to bring in my transaction date. And I don't have a secondary date. So, you might have a financial year date, but I'm just going to copy out or comment out my ship date. And I'm going to click OK. And suddenly all those very terrifying exclamation marks disappear. And then I've also got another calculation for measure. And same again, it's all parameter driven. So select one measure, give me sales. Select 2, give me profit. So let's maybe do select 1, give me my number of items. And select 2 will give me my discount. Okay. And I've actually commented out my sales for ZAR. And I'm going to click OK now. And now all of these calculations reside in a new workbook, and I can go ahead and use these. So what have I actually done? Like I said, everything is parameter driven. So I need to just quickly edit my parameters as well, because my parameters are saying order date, ship date, and sales and profit. So let me just quickly do this. Sorry, I am moving fast. Sorry, not that one. Let's just call this transaction date, and this one we can remove. I'm just going to do the 1, and then my measure as well. This one was number of items, and this one was, let me say, discount. Okay, so what have I actually done? If I look at my date at the lowest level, so I know this data only goes, I think, a year and a bit. So I'm going to look at it at the lowest level by right-click, dragging it out into my view. And really what I want to do is I want to look at my measure, but I want to look at just my month to date. Okay, so I know that I've got my calculation for current month to date. So I'm going to drag that onto my rows. And my current month to date is going to be true for my selected period. Okay, so there's my select date, it's 31st, but that's obviously updated to today. So let's keep scrolling all the way down. Apologies, I know I am moving quite quickly. It is obviously recorded. But what I'm going to see now is it's going to show true from the 1st of May up until the current day, which is today. And now, if I look at my current month to date calc, I can see sort of how it's been curated and developed. Previous month, is just got a date add for my select date. And then I want to use my current month for my measure. And because I've created that question, current month to date question mark, it's obviously true or false. So I'm going to say when it's true, give me that measure. Okay. So what I wanted to see, remember, is my current month to date, and let's maybe compare that to my previous month to date. And now we can see that our logical tests are working. There's my previous month to date. So from the 1st up until the 28th. That's the aggregate of what I'm looking at. So now what I can do is I can clear the shelf, maybe get rid of that measure. And now what I'm looking at is my current month versus my previous month to date. And as the next day rolls around, it's going to update, and I can constantly look at my my changing measure based on that date selection. So a couple things I've shown here, the ability to copy calculations from an existing workbook. Obviously, there's considerations of making things parameter driven. So I always encourage that as far as possible. Where you can put a parameter, try and consider that. It just means that you can create this reusability really seamlessly. So I'm going to pause there. The last thing I would like us to, let's get through there. The last thing I'd like us to do in the last 5 minutes is to just scan this QR code. It's a quick little questionnaire around some of the things we've looked at. We obviously want to try and improve these sessions, hear from you. So please, if you don't mind taking some time to scan this, you can fill it in on your mobile. And I am going to close from there and open up to any questions while people are filling in the form. Steve.
Yeah, how's it, Craig? I just have a question on the Einstein GPT. I think it's an amazing tool, and from the stuff I've seen online, it's really interesting, especially with its use of Pulse. The big concern we've had, and in general, is the data security there. With all AI models, you kind of wonder, where is that information sitting? And we were just looking for additional documentation from the Tableau side. From what I've seen, I found that Tableau AI is built on the Einstein trust layer, but I'm not too sure where to go from there, or just any documentation that kind of puts our minds at ease that our information is secure and safe when turning on this AI feature.
Tish, can I hand that to you?
Yeah, sure you can. Right, so yes, all our Gen AI experience products are based on the Einstein Trust Layer. If you just Google Einstein Trust Layer, the first link that comes out should be an architectural explanation of what that actually means and what that looks like. And that's on our Salesforce site, because the Einstein Trust Layer underpins all of Salesforce's products, and Tableau is a Salesforce product. Andre, do you have anything else you think you want to add there, maybe?
Yeah, maybe you can just put the link there. But yeah, I think that, of course, is very critical, the trust, the governance, the security. So, when you go through that trust layer, you'll see that no data is shared with anyone except yourself. I think being part of a company like Salesforce, they take, of course, security and all of these things in governance very, very serious. And they've spent a lot of time, effort, and money, to make sure that your data is secure, and it's not being shared. But yeah, if you want more details, Stephen, just reach out to any of the leaders, me, anyone else, and we can provide you more information on it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions, comments? If this was your first tug, if you want to unmute and share your experience, that would be awesome. If not, thanks for being here.
Is there anyone that for the next user group who wants to share some tips and tricks themselves? Be brave to put up their hand.
It's in my my questionnaire,
Okay.
so I'm hoping if they
Yes.
want to unmute here, then they can kindly let us know.
Craig, I think I just have one last thing to add. It was very
Sure.
important that you showed Tableau Public, and it really is the gateway with which you communicate to the rest of the data fam, like across the world. You know, I was looking, there's a Tableau people dashboard that shows people in the data fam that are active on Tableau Public by different countries and things like that. And just in Southern Africa, there really isn't much going on. That's the truth. And I know, and I know we're busy. I know all of that. But Tableau Public is a really great place to get started. It's a great place to learn the product and to engage with people. So I would really, really recommend to everybody who doesn't have a Tableau Public account to maybe create one and start seeing how they can get started.
Thanks, Tish. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, we're spot on time. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I think a great attendance. Like Andre mentioned, feel free to reach out. We obviously have the TUG community on the website, and look out for our next event. I am going to take some of the feedback from this form, so I'm hoping you have captured it. And we will start communicating what the next event, where it is, what it looks like, and the topics in there. Great.
Thanks,
So
everyone.
thank you. Thanks,
Thanks
everybody.
for joining.
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Oliver. Go on.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Well done, Craig. Well done. Great session.
Thank you. Thanks.